Good morning, good morning. Welcome to In the Garden with Joyful Living. I am Kimberly Dixon. While we wait for a few people to join us, I am going to go ahead and start showing you the garden. So you can see our lovely petunias here. It's only fitting that we're going to be talking about the weather forecast today because it rained overnight. Look at that eggplant. Isn't that just gorgeous? I love the purple veining in the leaves, just to give you an indication of what's to come. Good morning, Tamika. We've got our Roma tomato putting out the beautiful yellow flowers. And as you know, everywhere there's a flower is going to be some fruit. We got the marigolds in the back to combat aphids. The chives in the front that will also combat aphids and other bad insects, but also it will flavor the tomatoes. We have our straight 8 cucumbers getting ready to start vining. The muncher cucumbers are popping up. Here we've got 2 different varieties of zucchini. This one is a little bit, well, these two are yellowing, so I fed them this week, and as well as gave them some peroxide. This Cocozelle zucchini was from a seed that was sent to me from a friend in Greensboro several years ago, so I've been planting those every year. Peppers looking wonderful. Anytime you see, good morning, Celeste, mushrooms coming up in your containers is an indication of 2 things. One, that it's some really good soil, and 2 is that the soil is too wet. So just let it stay there because it'll add nutrients back to the soil. But those are some things to watch out when you see mushrooms. Too wet and you have good soil. Raspberry bush, it doesn't look like much, y'all, but it's got those little prickly hairs all over it, so it's coming alive. Cherry tomato with green onions. Celeste, did you know my nickname was Sunshine? I noticed that last week when you called me Sunshine, but it is one of my best friends gave me that name years ago. This is some snow pea seeds that the same friend in Greensboro gave to me. Bee-balm, sweet banana pepper. I planted my ginger this week, but it hasn't started coming up. The romaine lettuce is slow, but it's finally starting to make its appearance. We've got more zucchini, more straight 8 cucumber. But guys, I went ahead and labeled everything so that you guys can see what each item is, even if I don't say it, because I knew what it was, but you may not necessarily. Strawberries. I planted these from seed. I started these from seed last year. In the first year with strawberries, they don't give you a harvest, but the second year they do. And as you can see, little strawberries are starting to form. We got green bell pepper. This was a flower and strawberry plant from my sister Valerie. I don't think the strawberries survived the winter, but the flowers are coming back, so that's lovely. But I'm pointing out things that have been gifted to the garden. These ornaments and the tags were a gift from Malcolm Dixon, because this garden isn't just about me. There are many people who contribute to it and are vested in what happens here. So the soil was amended with black cow and also with used coffee grinds from Blackology Coffee Company. So this is a community investment. We're still watching patiently for the asparagus. I am sure they're doing something under the soil, but I'll let you know. We'll keep watching it, because as I mentioned previously, this is a long-term investment. Just like with strawberries, asparagus, the first year it comes up, you shouldn't harvest it, but the second year it comes up, for the next 15 to 20 years, it will give you a harvest from those very first roots that you planted. So, got my flowers all set up. Good morning, Elizabeth. Gosh, I haven't seen you in a long time. I hope you're doing well. So we're going to go ahead and get started and talk about the weather forecast, and then relate that to us and how it manifests and shows up in our life. So the weather forecast for this week is, it's supposed to rain today, tomorrow. On Monday, it's going to be blazing hot. Tuesday, it's supposed to rain. Wednesday, it's supposed to rain. Blazing hot on Thursday, and then rain Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This weather that we're getting, it's like two extremes. We got blazing hot or rainy. Blazing hot and rainy. Now, the ideal day for me would be a mostly sunny day, around 70 or 75. That's a perfect day for me. But that rarely ever happens. Now, what happens with these plants when it rains, container plants, or even plants in the ground? When it rains continuously and they're not able to get a break, then the roots become waterlogged and they actually suffocate and the plants die. Now, there's a solution to that. You give them 50% water and 50% peroxide, and it will give them a boost of oxygen and help them survive. But when it rains like that, they suffocate. So when it's raining in our life, we feel like we are suffocating. And then on the opposite end of that is when it's blazing hot. What that does is it scorches the plants. It scorches the leaves. It scorches the fruit. Sometimes it will actually rot. And if it's too hot for too long, the roots will actually dry out, and they can no longer take up nutrients that they need to survive. And guess what happens? The plant and the fruit withers and dies because it is in a desert-like environment. So in our lives, we have these extremes showing up where it is either raining profusely or we are in the scorching hot desert. That can be physical, emotional, spiritual, and what that looks like is divorce, death, job loss, children acting up, spouses acting up, and guess what? Or the lack thereof of children or spouses. The very thing that you've desired, you don't have, so now you feel like you're out there in the desert all alone. And I'm just going to be honest with you. You have the thoughts that says, nobody loves me. I'm doing this all by myself. I can't do this. The answers for the plants is for you to be aware of the weather forecast. Be aware of what's going on so that you can be active and do the things that are necessary so that the plants don't wither and die. You have to use the right tools for the right conditions so that they're able to withstand the storm that they're in, whether it is profusely raining or blazing hot and drying up. So that reminds me of Isaiah 43:19 that says, behold, I am doing a new thing. It shall spring forth. Do you not see it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. Let me read that again. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Do you not perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. When I was disabled, I made a conscious decision to be grateful for every little thing. I mean, it seems so small and so insignificant, but I made a conscious decision. Thank you, Elizabeth. She said, teach Kim. I made a conscious decision that I was going to be grateful for every little thing. If it was a sunny day, even though I couldn't go outside, I would praise God for that. If it was raining, I praised God for that, because guess what? I was still alive. So, but just choosing and making a conscious decision to be grateful in the middle of those storms, guess what? That was my road in the wilderness. That was my river. That was, good morning, Angie. That was my, the road to my joy. That is what gave me my joy when I made that decision that I was going to use the tools that God had given me to be grateful for everything, no matter how it showed up. That is what we have to do when we have the storms raging in our life, is make a conscious decision. Use the tools that we've been given by God. That's your road in the wilderness. That's your river. But sometimes we get so bogged down, we get so waterlogged that we feel like we are either being burned up by the fire, being scorched in a furnace, or that, we're out here lost in the woods by ourselves, that we don't see the little things that God is showing all along to let us know that He's there. That I see you, I have not left you, I have not forsaken you. I will be a road in the wilderness and a river in the desert. That river is your lifeline. God is our lifeline. Doesn't mean that you're not still in the desert, because you're still in the desert. But there's a river there that will sustain you, and that will keep you, and that will keep you from dying in the state that you're currently in. We have to stop looking for those perfect days, because the weather forecast, most of the time it's wrong. The weatherman can only use their technology and the best predictions they have to say what the day is going to be like. But it was supposed to have been raining all day. But here I am sitting outside on my deck with the birds chirping, enjoying the day as it is showing up. We have to keep looking for the good things that are happening. Recognize that awareness of a bird chirping, that watching a squirrel run. That may not be the thing for you. It's the thing for me. But you have to make a decision and look for the things that bring you joy in your life, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of what the weather on the outside looks like. You've got to find that joy on the inside, which is God, which is going to sustain you, which is going to keep you, which is going to allow you to have peace when there's chaos all around you. Guys, I wish I could tell you the amount of chaos that is going on right now. So many of you know Silas started out the month of April in ICU. He came home, but he's been back to the emergency vet 4 times since then. So that is 5 emergency situations. My baby is sick. I've had Silas for 11 years. And he was one of the things that helped me get through being disabled. So that's a source of stress. The vet is expensive. That's a source of stress. But there are other things that are always going on. Life is going to be stressful and chaotic, and sometimes painful, and sometimes joyful. But we got to make sure that we don't get lost. Good morning, Sean. In the painful events, because that not only will make us feel like we are dying, it literally can kill you. Look for your road in the wilderness, and look for your river in the desert, because that is your lifeline. That's what's going to sustain you. That is what's going to keep you. So don't get so caught up in what the weather forecast for the day is, whether it's supposed to be raining or blazing hot. Use your tools, get prepared for the day, and keep moving forward. Because whenever we stand still, if you sit down while you're in the wilderness and you don't keep following the river back to safety, guess what? You die in the wilderness. If you're in the desert and you find a river but you don't follow that river back to civilization, guess what? You get scorched to death. You die of thirst right there in the desert when you sit down. Don't sit down on your life. Don't allow your current circumstances, the chaos swirling all around you, death, disease, divorce, children, spouses, your best friend, whoever it is that's causing whoever or whatever it is that's causing the chaos. Look for your road in the wilderness and your river in the desert. Guys, thank you for watching In the Garden with Joyful Living. It brings me great joy to spend this time with you every Saturday morning and to look at the contributions that people send to the garden. If you want to make a contribution to the garden, whether it be something financial, you can do that through Cash App at KDixon1970. KDixon, $ KDixon1970. You can send me seeds, whatever, because this is our garden. This is something that sustains us and feeds us, whether you actually get stuff physically fruit from the garden because you're too far away, it still feeds us. So guys, I thank you so much for watching and being a part of this journey with me. I never knew this is what God was going to use. My little old garden that started with a tomato plant on my patio, but I am so grateful for it. I enjoy doing it, and I enjoy being able to spend time with you all every Saturday morning. Guys, thank you for watching. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.